Good morning to you. It is morning time, and of course it's time for you to do a bit of exercise. This is possibly the ideal time to do it, apparently. Exercise is good at all times, but in the morning it might just have more benefit. I want to speak to Dr. Johnny Bloomfield, who's been writing about this from johnnybloomfield.com. Johnny, talk us through this, why it is, I suppose, favourable or advantageous to exercise in the morning.
Good morning, Frank. I came across a really interesting study just toward the back end of last year, which sampled a large population of 86,000 individuals, and the findings were published in the European Journal of Preventative Cardiology. So they showed a major finding that across a 24-hour period, if we're mostly active between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m., it's linked with lower risks of both heart disease and stroke. So I think it's all in our interest to get up, get active, get moving every morning.
So what should we be doing if you're fully fit and you're able to go for it? What should we be doing? And then we'll have a look at what other people what tasks they should take on.
Sure. Well, like you said in the beginning there, exercise really at all times, apart from late evening, are good for you. So let's not suggest here that morning is the only time that we should be active. We're just suggesting that it might be the optimal time to at least do something. And for people who are fully fit and active, really, it's about doing meeting those recommended minimum guidelines that are set by the World Health Organization. Now, in previous talks you and I have had, we've talked about reducing your sitting time. We've talked recently about increasing our strength training, but the main headline from those guidelines is about trying to achieve 150 minutes of at least moderate level activity across an entire week, and that kind of equates down to roughly 30 minutes on most days of the week. At least five of those days is what we should be ideally looking to achieve. Now, we don't have to do those 30 minutes all in one go. We can. I tend to, in my kind of busy lifestyle, break those up into 3 10s or 2 15s. So I'll try and get one of those done early on in the morning. And really, it kind of subtracts from the equation, and I've got less to do before I get towards the end of the day, where I feel I've got less time available and more pressure on me to kind of fit more stuff in. So I think, apart from that, I think getting it done early in the morning, it's convenient as well as beneficial.
Well, what do we need to be doing? Do we need to be running, jumping? What do we need to be doing?
Well, so anything that you would describe as moderate level activity. So I usually say to people, what you count as exercise counts. So that could be for one person who's fit and healthy and young. That might be like what you've mentioned there, brisk walking, running, cycling, swimming, maybe doing any sort of cardio activity on a piece of equipment, but anything that really gets your heart rate up, and you would classify that as exercise. What you actually do doesn't really matter, as long as you find it enjoyable and repeatable and accessible. That's mainly the most important things.
So you're less likely to have strokes and heart attacks if you do your exercise in the morning, sometime from 8 o'clock to around about now. If you're a little older, maybe less agile, does it still count to get up and walk if you can, stretch yourself, wriggle your ankles, do whatever you do when you're older?
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to that other message there: sit less, move more, move as often as you can. Every minute of moderate activity counts towards your 150. So never feel that it's not worth it. Just simply doing 1 minute of something that you find as what you would count as exercise, it counts. So yes, every little opportunity you can find to do something, then that's a good thing. As we get older, it becomes more important. We talked about this whenever we were discussing sarcopenia, so our loss of muscle mass and bone density as we age. So as we age, it becomes more important to be active and doing the right things. But again, choosing activities that are appropriate. Tai Chi is a really good one for older adults, improving our strength and our balance, but it's also challenging. Your heart rate will increase in that too, as it would in activities like yoga or Pilates. But there's nothing better than a good whole housework or gardening, washing the car. Those are all things, as long as you count it as exercise, it counts.
Everything counts. And finally, since I've been taking the bicycle to work, I haven't been able to walk up the stairs here because I have to take the bike up, and the lift. It would be impossible to take the bike up 7 flights of stairs. But, okay, I've got the bicycle, and that's giving me a bit of a workout every day to and fro. Having said all that, when I was coming by car, I did try to use the stairs as much as possible. It absolutely knackered me, like 7 flights of stairs up a tower block. Is that a bit daft for a man of my age to be trying that, or is it a sensible thing?
Well, no, it's all relative, Frank. So, I mean, walking upstairs, if you're getting out of breath walking upstairs, you would count that as exercise. Another person who glides up those stairs and isn't out of breath, well, they wouldn't count that as exercise. So what you count as exercise counts, really. So if walking up the stairs is getting you out of breath, then that's contributing towards those 150 minutes. I love the fact that you're on your bike twice a day. So there's a great example of, splitting your minimum, your 30 minutes recommended into different periods. So, you've got your ride in and your ride home, and then all you need to do is really find another, if you haven't hit your 30 minutes by doing that, finding the remainder somewhere else.
I could do it doing a lot more. One final point, just briefly, Johnny, because I use up so much energy, and other people are using up energy too, by doing what they do, I tend to be drawn to, sugar rush, eating a bit more, needing a couple of biscuits with a cup of tea because I'm knackered. Sometimes, how do I avoid that? Should I be just aiming for bananas or something?
Okay, so we have to be careful, making sure, depending on what activity you're doing, you have to fuel for it appropriately. So if you're doing things like light, maybe moderate, you can kind of get away with doing that in a fasted state and still not increase your hunger or your appetite. But if you are doing something that's more strenuous, it's important if you fuel for that activity, so that you don't get a drop in your blood sugar and then a craving to, eat those sort of things to refill. So, keeping your blood sugar steady and your exercise, appropriate so that you don't end up with spikes and lows. With that is a good idea. But we'll go back to any healthy eating. Is always a positive thing, Frank. So if you're picking bananas over processed food, happy you're doing that all day long. All right.
Unfortunately, I'm taking the odd biscuit instead of the bananas. I'm going to have to refocus on the naturals. Johnny, always good having you on. Thank you very, very much indeed. Dr. Johnny Bloomfield from johnnybloomfield.com, giving us some, I suppose, advice that's very relevant as we gallop towards springtime. It's easier to exercise this time of the year. You agree with me? The sun is shining. The snow will be away by tomorrow. We'll do our best. We will.